Okay, today we are going to start with intervals of time 2A. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. This has a letter, so I'm going to be doing these with you. So again, we do have an analog clock. My strategy always is first to begin by breaking the clock in half. Remember, right goes up, left goes down. I'm going to go ahead and start by looking at what they're asking me. They want me to find the start time. Before I continue, I forgot to do my minutes. So we have a clock, 5, and then we have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55. And then, of course, it gets to 60, but that would be a clock. So we're going to start by looking at the hour. The hour hand is a little small one. And if you notice, it's pointing between 1 and 2. What does the arrow say to do? The arrow says to look up. Who is up, the 1 or the 2? Up is the 1. So I'm going to write that it's 1 for the hour. How many minutes? The minute hand is pointing to the 3, which means that it's going to be 15 minutes. Now, if you notice, this one's different because for this one, they are giving me the duration and they want me to find the end time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab another sheet of paper. I like to have space for my work. And I'm going to document the start time, which was 1:15. So this is my start, 1:15. And I do not know my end time. That's what I'm looking for. But I do know that it took 25 minutes. So if I start at 1:15 and I add 25 minutes, what would be my end time? Well, I'm going to start by first, if you notice, it's 25 minutes. So I could not do a mountain, but I can do a hill. I could do a hill for 5 minutes. Why 5? Because I have 1:15. So if I add 5 minutes, that would make it 1:20. Because I'm adding 5 minutes and we had 15. So that would be 1:20. But if you notice, I'm not done. They wanted me to add 25 minutes. And from those 25 minutes, I have only added 5. How many more minutes do I need? 5 minus 5 is 0. 2 minus nothing is 2. I still need 20 more minutes. Well, now it's easy because I have a 20. So if I do another mountain for 20 minutes... So I'm going to subtract the 20 minutes that I just jumped. What time would I get to? If I have 1:20 and I add 20, I am going to end up at 1:40. Notice that I ended up adding the duration that was 25 minutes. Where did I get the duration from? The duration, I got it from the problem. 25 minutes. I had 20 minutes and 5, that makes 25. So if I start at 1:15 and I add 20 minutes, where would I end up at? 1:40. Okay, you can also do it this way. The start time was 1:15. Remember, these are my hours and these are my minutes. And they want me to add 25 minutes. That's the duration. So if I add 25 minutes, where would I end up at? Well, let me go ahead and start with my minutes. 5 minutes plus 5 minutes is 10 minutes. So I'm going to regroup. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is going to be 4. How many hours? 1. So if I start at 1:15 and I add 25 minutes, I will end up at 1:40. So my end time would be 1:40. Let me go ahead and continue with number 2. For number 2, same thing. They're giving me the duration. They want me to find the start and the end time. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the clock in half. Right goes up, left goes down. I'm going to start with the minutes, a clock, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60, which means a clock. I'm going to look at the hour hand, and the hour hand is pointing between 10 and 11. If we look at the arrow says pointing down. So who is down, the 11 or the 10? In this case, down is 11. So my hour would be 11. How many minutes? The minute hand is pointing to 8, which really means 40 minutes. So I'm going to go back to my paper and I'm going to start at 11:40. Remember that we do not know our end time, but we do know that it took 45 minutes. So from here to here, I need to jump 45 minutes. So I'm going to start by doing a little hill. I'm going to do a hill for 5 minutes. So if I'm at 11:40 and I add the 5 minutes, I would end up at 11:45. Remember, how many minutes did we needed to jump? 45. I already jumped 5. So how many more do I need? 45 minus 5 is 40. I still need 40 minutes. I'm going to jump again. I'm going to go ahead and do another mountain. And this mountain is going to be for 20 minutes. If I'm at 11:45 and I add 20 minutes, where would I end up? 11:45 plus 20 would be 12:05. Remember, we jumped 20 minutes and we needed 40. So I'm going to take away the 20 minutes that we already jumped. 40 minus 20 is 20. I still need to jump 20 more minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and I'm going to jump the 20 minutes. So if I'm at 12:05 and I add 20 minutes, where would I end up? At 12:25. I'm going to come over here and subtract the 20 minutes. 20 minus 20 is 0. So what is my end time? 12:25. Let me go ahead and do it using our regular algorithm. So remember, my start time was 11:40. And these are hours. And these are minutes. And they wanted me to jump 45 minutes. How much time is that? So I start with my minutes. 0 minutes plus 5 is 5. 4 minutes plus 4 minutes, it's 8. Now, very careful here. If you notice, it says 85. 85 minutes. Remember, 1 hour has 60 minutes. So from those 85, I am going to take 60 minutes, which will be my hour. So I'm going to regroup it. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 8 minus 6 is going to be 2. How many minutes are left? 25. 11 hours plus 1 equals 2, 12. So my end time will be 12:25. If you notice, it's exactly the same one that we got up here. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next problem, which will be letter C. First things first, I'm going to cut the clock in half. Right goes up, left goes down. Remember our minutes, a clock, 5, and then we have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60, which means a clock. I'm going to look at the hour hand. It's pointing between 9 and 8. The arrow says to look down. Who is down, the 9 or the 8? In this case is the 8. So my hour is 8. How many minutes? It's pointing to the 2, which means 10 minutes. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over, grab another sheet of paper so I can do my work. And remember that the start time was 8:10. Do I know the end time? No, we do not. What was the time, the duration? 30 minutes. So I do not know my end. Sorry, I did another little line. I do not know my end. But we do know that the duration was 30 minutes. So to get from here to here, it took 30 minutes. That was the direct duration. So I'm going to go ahead and start by jumping. I'm going to jump 20 minutes. So if I'm at 8:10 and I add 20 minutes, that would get me to 8:30. Remember, we needed to jump 30 minutes. I already jumped 20. How many more do I need? 10. So I'm going to jump 10 more minutes. If I'm at 8:30 and I jump 10, where would I get to? 8:40. Remember, we needed to jump 10. I just jumped 10 more. So 10 minus 10 is 0. So my end time would be 8:40. I'm going to do it using the standard algorithm. So we start with 8:10. Remember, these are hours and these are minutes. They want me to add 30 minutes. So how much would that be? Where would I end up at? 0 plus 0, 0. 3 plus 1 is 4. Now I'm going to do the hours. Plus nothing, 8. Notice that it matches my answer. So my end time was 8:40. Problem D. Break it in half. Remember that the right goes up, left goes down. Start with 0, 0, and then we have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then we got to the 60, which was a clock. I'm going to start with my hour hand. My hour hand is the little one, and it's pointing between 5 and 6. The arrow says to look up, so who is up? The 5. So my hour is 5. How many minutes? The arrow's pointing straight into the 6, which means 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and show my work. My start time is going to be 5:30. Remember that we do not know our end time. But we do know that it took 55 minutes. It took 55 minutes. That was the duration. So I'm going to start, if I'm at 5:30, I'm actually going to add 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do a hill, and I'm going to do 30 minutes. So if I'm at 5:30 and I add 30 more minutes, that means the other half, I would get to 6 o'clock. Remember, we needed to jump 55 minutes, but I already jumped 30. So how many more minutes do I need? 5 minus 0 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. So I'm still missing 25 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and jump 20 minutes. So if I'm at 6 o'clock and I add 20 more, that would be 6:20. Remember, we needed to jump 25 minutes. So I'm going to take away the 20 that we just jumped. So 25 minus 20 is going to be 5. I'm going to go ahead and do another jump. Remember, we were missing 5 minutes, so I'm going to make it for 5. If I'm at 6:20 and I add 5, what time would I get to? 6:25. I'm going to go ahead and prove it by saying that it is 5:30. Remember, these are hours and these are minutes. And they want me to add 55 minutes. Where would I get to? What would be the end? So I start with my minutes. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. Now be careful. Again, 85 minutes. Remember, 1 hour has only 60 minutes. So I'm going to take my 85 and I'm going to take away 60. Why the 60? Because that is going to become 1 hour. So 5 minus 0, 5. 8 minus 6 is going to be 2. So I have 25 minutes left. Remember that the 60, we transfer them or we regroup them to the hour. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Did our answers match? They sure did. So our end time is going to be 6:25. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and now move over to the next page. You guys will be responsible for number 1, number 7, number 4, and number 5. These are going to be on intervals of time to be page 1. Again, intervals of time to be page 1, and you guys can go ahead and do the ones that are circled in case you finish and you want to continue practicing. Of course, you can do the rest, and also the ones that I did not do over here, you can also do these on the right hand side. I'm going to go ahead and jump over now to be page 2. And I'm going to go ahead and do number 11 and 12. And you guys will be responsible for doing number 9 and number 10. So I'm going to start with number 11. 11 says, Billy played a video game for 45 minutes. Very important. That is the duration. How long did it take him to play? 45 minutes. If he started playing at 3:30, clue word start at 3:30 p.m. What time did he stop? That would be my end time. So I'm going to go ahead and start by showing my work. So I'm going to do my number line. And we have our start and our end time. Remember, we do not know the end, but we do know that start was at 3:30. How long did he play for? 45 minutes. So in total, I need to add 45 minutes. So if I'm at 3:30, I'm actually going to jump 30 minutes. Remember, I have 30 minutes, and if I add 30, that would be 1 hour. So that means it's going to be 4 o'clock. We needed to add 45 minutes. I just added the 30. How many more do I need? 5 minus 0, 5. 4 minus 3 is 1. I still need 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and jump those 15 minutes. If I'm at 4 o'clock and I add 15, I would end up at 4:15. I'm going to take away those 15 minutes we just added. 15 minus 15 is 0. So let's go ahead and check our work by doing our start time, which was 3:30. Remember, these are hours and these are minutes. They want me to add 45 minutes. How much would that be? 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 3 is 7. Oops, we have a problem. Remember, 1 hour only has 60 minutes. So I need to take away 60 minutes, which equal to 1 hour. But those 60 minutes, I'm going to add it to my hour. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 6 is 1. So I'm left with 15 minutes. 3 hours plus 1 equals 4. So my total will be 4:15. Did we get the same answer? Yes, we did. So the end time was going to be 4:15 p.m. Number 12. Vianney has guitar lessons every Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Important. At what time do they start? At 12:30 p.m. Each lesson is 1 hour and 25 minutes long. How long does it take? That is my duration. It takes 1 hour and 25 minutes. So what time does Vianney lesson end? Stop or end time. So I'm looking for my end time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my number line. My start is going to be 12:30. And my end, I do not know, but I do know that it took a total of 1 hour, 25 minutes. So right away, I'm going to jump the easiest, which will be the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and do a big mountain. That is 1 hour. So if I'm at 12:30, I would end up at 1:30. But I'm still missing those 25 minutes. So I'm going to jump those 25 minutes. So if I'm at 1:30 and I add 25, I would end up at 1:55. So my end time is 1:55 p.m. Let me go ahead and prove it by adding. So my start time is 12:30. Remember, these are my hours and these are my minutes. I'm going to add my duration, which was 1 hour and 25 minutes. 5 plus 0 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. 12 hours plus 1 is 13. So that means that whenever you're saying 13, remember that we have a pattern. So it starts at 1 o'clock in the morning, ends at 12, and then it starts again. So there's no 13. So instead of the 12, the next hour that follows is supposed to be 1 o'clock. So it is 1:55 because there's no 13. So I'm going to ask you that you work on number 9 and number 10 for today. Yes, if you have any questions, please let me know so I can go ahead and help you as best as I can. Thank you, guys.